Hey, listeners, we are coming to Mesa, Arizona at the Bridge Improv Theater on June 15th. That's right, Father's Day. Come see comedy, magic, and improv with myself and George. Tickets will be available soon. We will let you know when. And when it is time, you will go to bridgeimprovtheater.com to purchase those tickets. Come celebrate, or escape, Father's Day with us. Two guys who, fortunately, have never reproduced. Also, thank you for supporting the show. Please leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Now, on to the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Bit Delayed Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, George G, joined of course by one of my best friends, Mr. Patrick Bean. How you doing today, Pat?
I'm good, George. How are you?
Wonderful. I love throwing that little radio voice in there sometimes to scare the shit out of our fans, and they're listening. I just go, hello and welcome.
Yes, your podcast medium, or your podcast platform of choice has crashed, and you're back to FM radio.
Just, hey, how we doing? It's just Pat and George in the morning. Here we go, talking about, oh my goodness, did you hear the news about Jennifer Aniston? My God.
So, and just if I ever hacky, hokey radio.
If I ever make it onto the actual radio and Jennifer Aniston is still relevant by the time I make it onto the radio, we'll go with that.
Why would you say Jennifer Aniston's not relevant? She's still acting.
I just mean that, like, when I hear the name Jennifer Aniston, I think of like me in like high school watching Friends. That's all in my mind. I know she's done a lot. I know she's done a lot more since Friends, but that's just where I go is, oh, okay, she was popular X amount of years ago. That's just where I hear it.
Yeah, but We Are the Millers is still one of the funniest.
Oh, that is a great movie. That is a great movie.
As much as I would love to see a continuation of like that little cluster, that fake family and witness protection, I'm happy It seems like it's a one and done, because that movie is so perfect. You don't want a sequel to come in and, tarnish the legacy, so to speak, even though the first one will always be as good as it is,
And if you haven't seen it, that's a spoiler alert that it's a family going through a fake family. But at the
end.
Hey, but in all honesty, with everything you got to say, no regrets on that. So
no regrets. Not a one, huh?
Not one.
Even one.
Not one.
No.
I love how that little short on social media has probably become more popular than the whole movie. Like, everyone knows it from No Regrets, but the movie is a gem. I love that movie. That's such the
scene where it's like, oh, I want to. Catherine Hahn's like, I want to hold the baby, and they're at the truck repair.
Oh, that's right.
And throws the blanket. It's from the trailer. It throws it into the highway, and the semi runs it over. And Catherine Hahn's like, oh my God, like just the sheer horror in her eyes.
Yeah, and what's what's the actor's name that plays the he's like the DEA agent and
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman. Yeah, I've been finding a lot of his stuff that I really enjoy.
So funny. He's so funny.
Yeah. Because is that the same? Is that the same guy that did Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I actually never watched a lot of Parks and Rec, but I've been seeing a lot of his other stuff, and I just that man is a talented actor. I love everything he does in oh my God. I just screwed up the words. What movie are we talking about? The movie.
We were talking about We Are the Millers.
We Are the Millers. I forgot the fucking name of the movie we were just saying. I'm like, I can picture this movie as soon as you say We Are the Millers. I know exactly where you're going with it. But if you were like if I put that movie on and I started watching it, I'd be like, wait, what the hell's the name of this movie again?
Oh,
I don't know.
No, I remember my birthday a couple years ago. And my comedy sister Christine came out to hang out and celebrate it with me, and it was like Comedy Central was just playing that movie for the whole weekend. This is when I had cable, like very basic cable, and it was just on the whole time. And Christine had never seen it before. She had heard about it, but she had never seen it. So this is the first time she actually sat down and was watching it and was like, oh my God, this movie's hysterical. Why have I never seen this before? She was like, my husband Al didn't think it was fun, or like saw the trailer and didn't want to see it, so I've never seen it. But now I'm watching it. This is hysterical. This is the movie he would love. So, it's so good.
I had that moment where it ended up being a movie I ended up like loving, and I was like, wow, why is this so hidden in the comedy movie universe? Um, I was that same way with Grandma's Boy. Do you know it? Have you seen it?
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
but that's the whole what is Adam Sandler's company?
Happy Madison.
Happy Madison. That's a Happy Madison production, and like
Hmm.
I don't think that even when you go into like the stories of like Grown Ups and the other ones that like maybe like people don't consider as famous in the Happy Madisons, like I think people forget about Grandma's Boy, and like I remember being like, oh, I don't want to watch that. It's not going to be funny. It's just a stoner comedy. Da da da. You know, bro, that movie has so many quotes. Like you could
Hmm.
just go on and on. I don't know. That was I was definitely that same way.
I think it was their first big major production that didn't star Adam Sandler, and I think that's why it flew under the radar to a lot of people.
Oh, okay, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
Because as far as I can recall, Adam Sandler doesn't even make a cameo in that movie.
I'd have to go back and watch it again, but
I
I
don't think
do.
he does, or it's so like blink and you miss it. Like it's so fast if he does.
I just remember like me specifically. I won't say I was against the movie. It was just one that I not remember wanting to go check out. And then
Hmm.
it was probably like a year or two later, and someone's like, "Have you seen Grandma's Boy?" And I was like, "Nah." And they're like, "No, you should watch it." And I remember dying laughing.
Yeah.
On another one, just real fast thing, spitballing on this one is I remember when I was in the military. One of my friends was obsessed with Napoleon Dynamite, and
Mm.
I did not get it. I could not understand it. I could not understand why people were so like into this movie when it was coming out and why it's a cult classic. And I probably saw it. I don't know. It was probably out for like a year or so, but by the time I eventually saw it, and because my friend was obsessed with it, because he was like, "You don't get the jokes yet. You don't get the jokes yet." I
Hmm.
must have watched that movie 4 or 5 times. And I will say that probably around number three, you do get some of the jokes that you were like, oh, that wasn't funny originally. But
Hmm.
I just remember like the hype of movies. So, either loving it or not loving it. I don't know. It's just where I'm at.
I felt the same way, not only about Napoleon Dynamite, where the first time I saw it, I was like, this is stupid. And then I think the second time I go, all right, this isn't as bad as I remember. Just something about seeing it again. I was like, all right, I get it now. The movie that I hate to say I didn't get it the first time, and then the second time I watched it with my friends, and then I go, oh no, this is hilarious,
Yeah.
was Tropic Thunder.
Oh, you didn't get that the first time?
No, I got it. I just thought it was like I didn't think it was funny the first time. I don't know why.
Oh,
I don't know if it was the mood I was in. I don't know what it was, but I
oh.
was like, this is weird. This is
I,
like I think it was just so different from what I was expecting that I was like, oh, I don't
I,
what I'm
I,
not into it. And then afterwards I go
uh,
like I watched it. What was it? I think when Iron Man 2 was coming out, my friends and I decided to have a Robert Downey Jr. marathon. So we watched the first
awesome.
Iron Man and then we watched Tropic Thunder. And that was the time I was like, oh, this movie is hilarious.
To me, it's just one of those ones is I enjoyed Tropic Thunder from probably the first moment I saw it. I have not ever not laughed so hard at that movie, even knowing some of the references now. Um, the only thing I remember not liking about Tropic Thunder was the movie commercials at the very beginning. I was like, what the hell
Mm,
am I watching?
the
And then I
fake
was like,
trailers, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, the fake trailers. I That was the only part that I was like, what am I not getting at this? And I was like, oh, I get it. These are advertising the actors that are in these movies. And you're saying about the Robert Downey Jr. like that whole thing with him with the gay monks and stuff, and I'm just like, it
Oh,
made
where
me,
it's him and Toby Maguire.
yeah. What was his name?
Yes.
Lazarus or something. His
Kirk
name was
Lazarus, I
Kirk
believe.
Lazarus. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. They,
insane.
they do like
Which,
they do like Brokeback Mountain, but as like religious monks or something.
yes, that's rough. That's the elevator pitch right there. Brokeback Mountain, but in a monastery. So
Well,
here's the real.
Oh, go ahead. No, no,
Oh,
please, please.
well, so you know how there's the very. I mean, all of Robert Downey Jr.'s lines in that movie are so quotable.
Uh-oh.
You do you remember the one where he goes, "I don't break character till the DVD commentary."
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Oh
my
no, no.
my
Go
friends
ahead.
and I watch the DVD commentary. For the stretch of the movie where Robert Downey Jr. is playing Kirk Lazarus, playing Sergeant or Lieutenant Lincoln Osiris, he is in character as Lincoln Osiris in the commentary.
I am so glad you told me this.
Then, when he's in, what is it, when he goes to rescue Ben Stiller's character, where he's like the POW, but playing the Forrest Gump ripoff character, right? When he goes in and then he is broken of the Lincoln Osiris character and is back to being Kirk Lazarus, but in a war zone, Robert Downey Jr. now speaks with like the Australian accent and is Kirk Lazarus, the actor in the movie, doing the DVD commentary, watching Kirk Lazarus act with Ben Stiller.
Oh, that'd be great.
And meanwhile, the other two guys in the commentary, I think it's Ben Stiller and Jay Baruchel are the other two in the commentary. So they're doing this whole time. Then you get to the scene at the end where Ben Stiller's character wins the Oscar, right? The credits roll. And at that moment, you hear Robert Downey Jr. in his own voice go, "Hey guys, what did I miss?" And Ben Stiller goes,
great. So
"Robert,
great.
oh no, you missed the whole movie. Oh no, Robert." But meanwhile, he was in the two different characters, watching and commentating on the whole movie with them. If you didn't already have enough of a reason to go back and watch Tropic Thunder, this is to everyone. If you didn't already have enough of a reason, go back and watch it with the commentary. And Absolutely. It's a whole new experience because Robert Downey Jr.'s improv is so hilarious. Just half of it is just him making Ben Stiller, and again, I think it's Jay Baruchel, making those two laugh in the room as they do the commentary.
The fact that I knew almost exactly where you were going as you started saying this, I was just like, oh my God, that is amazing. Like, and in my head, I'm going, oh, please tell me at the end that it's Robert Downey Jr. Like,
only when the credits roll does Robert Downey Jr. go, "Hey guys, sorry I'm late." And Ben's like, "Oh no, you missed the whole movie."
Oh my God. Perfect. Oh, I got to go watch that. Did not know that. That's amazing.
Yes, he legitimately stays in character for the duration of the commentary.
I also remember, without getting into certain words that if you know the movie you'll understand, but I love
you can say lead farmer.
I love that Robert Downey Jr. You always used to talk about that he got in less trouble for being in blackface than Ben Stiller did for playing a mentally challenged person. He said that is the interesting one. He said that in some interview I saw. He's done it in a couple interviews, but I saw it in this one interview, and he was like more people were angry at him for doing that. He goes, that I kind of just got forgotten about, and he goes, and I'm okay with that.
Well, yeah, but the reason why it didn't wreck either of their careers is because they were parodying Hollywood in general, which is why it's such a good comedy. It's such a good farce of the entertainment industry, where that's the whole, they play on the fact, oh, you have to play a special needs character and you automatically win the Oscar. And like, that's Ben Stiller's motivation for why he played whatever that character's name, I can't remember. And then how the method actors, where they fully lose themselves in character. So they go and say, oh, Kirk Lazarus had the pigmentation surgery to actually change his skin. And you're like, fucking what?
Isn't it so weird? I as you're saying this, I'm thinking in my head just like over and over and over again, like what was the character's name? And I'm getting it. I got it. See, it took me a second, but in my mind, all I could hear was his voice, and I'm like, I am not imitating that voice at all.
No,
like, okay.
Please don't. Please,
but it was. I
rolled the dice doing the Lincoln Osiris impression.
It was Simple Jack. He's playing Simple Jack.
Yes, that's right. Yes, Tug Speedman playing Simple Jack.
I love the cameo of Tom Cruise in that, playing the agent.
Oh, that's more than a cameo, my friend. That is the role of a lifetime.
It's great.
Tom Cruise.
It's great. Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, that is a winner. But I mean, like, listen, they can't all be winners as actors. We've talked a lot about our fun road stories and stuff, and that they're not.
I love
all
the
winners.
segue. Tom Cruise is great. Anyway, about us.
Well, go listen to his goddamn podcast.
Tom Cruise spent some time in New Jersey. That's the connective tissue.
It's like, I don't know.
I believe
like,
he was born in New Jersey. It counts.
The fun thing is that me and you, whenever we start to put this shit together, we have like a general idea of a plan. We started on the hello, nowhere anywhere near the plan, and one of us has to go, let me try and do a segue. And I'm like, yeah, Tom Cruise, that sounds like a perfect way to bring us up.
Yeah, it's a straight line between those two dots. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's compare
Tom Cruise,
what we have in
world's most famous movie star. Anywho,
I mean, like, listen,
he was in dummies.
Hey, wait, hang on. I can do this. He's a white male. We're white males. He was in Top Gun. We saw Top Gun. I mean, like, this can happen.
Perfect. It's great. You at least were in the military. You share that with one of his most famous characters.
Yeah, I wasn't a Navy pilot, by the way.
No, I didn't say you were. I said you were in the military.
He was in Days of Thunder. I've been through a thunderstorm. I mean, like,
exactly.
Days of Thunder's a great movie, by the way.
He was in Eyes Wide Shut. I'm nearsighted.
Let's keep trying. All right. He was in Cocktail. I consider most of my family alcoholics.
Hey, he was in Mission Impossible. Sometimes I can't open a peanut butter jar.
Oh, God. All right. Well,
he does all his own stunts. I have to stretch just when I wake up in the morning because I'm getting older.
Yeah, how in the hell is he still doing stunts? And like, what are we on? Like Mission Impossible 12 or something?
It's probably closer to 12 than 1, I think. I think this might be the 7th or 8th one.
I think he's 6 or 7, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Either way, when you're a Hollywood superstar like that, you can eat the healthiest, best foods. You can work out full time. I mean, that's why The Rock is the size of a house of pure muscle.
Or you can be sitting doing a podcast, drinking Coca-Cola and smoking cannabis. So I'll just sit here and that's us. We're back on podcast. You got coffee.
I have coffee and water. I don't. So anyway,
we have gone off the rails again because we are a bit delayed.
It's our podcast. We can talk about whatever we want. Darn it! So we've delayed the topic enough.
Well, we need to stop. We need to start putting in like the show notes or whatever. We need to put in like if you want to get to the real topic, jump to this time.
Right. Our podcast is a choose your own adventure story where if you want to hear us ramble, just hit play. If you want to hear us specifically talk about movies, skip 30 seconds in. If you want to hear what we actually are talking about, jump to approximately 17 and a half minutes. And you can finally hear us actually talk about today's topic.
God. Well, since you ruined my segue, let's talk about crappy gigs.
Unlike Tom Cruise, you were not going to land the plane of that segue.
Oh.
Tom Cruise, I believe, registered pilot. Your segue, I don't even think the landing gear came down.
My segue is like the guys that jump off the mountain trying to flap their wings at that point.
Yeah. Wendy, I can fly. Okay.
I was trying to say that not all the movies are winners, and the actors may get bad parts, even like shown in Tropic Thunder. We've had bad parts as performers, as most performers have. That's where I was trying to put that.
See, but if you said it that eloquently,
you heard Tom Cruise. George is in Tom Cruise.
I mean, he could probably play a magician, but I digress.
He probably could. Actually, just because you mentioned military and I said Top Gun, one of my favorite things from being in the military was, and I saw it happen. I'm sure it happens more than on one occasion, but when I was the recruiting center where I signed in at, we had all four major branches. The Coast Guard wasn't there, but we had Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines all in one building, and then depending on which door you went in was whose office. And I remember hearing from the Air Force recruiter on multiple occasions, people that would come in and go, he's like, so what made you think about joining the Air Force? And they were like, I really love Top Gun. And he's like, good, go talk to the Navy.
Mhm.
He's like, the whole movie, everyone was like, no, man, aircraft, they must be Air Force.
Well, that's a knee-jerk response, and you get it when you think plane, you think Air Force, but
Okay.
that's yeah.
Well, the whole it's hey, I want to join the Air Force and go to Top Gun. Wrong Air Force, wrong military service.
Right. Yeah, but the common person doesn't think of that, despite them saying multiple times they are the best Navy pilots in the program.
Okay. I thought it was good.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
So,
Well, now that the
segue.
momentum's totally just stopped. Good Lord, update the show notes. We'll actually talk about the topic 20 minutes in while George cries. George, you're laughing so hard, the microphone's not even picking it up, I don't think. Or
I
at least
know,
it's silent on my end.
If we had video capabilities yet for this podcast, we would you would
We
see
do,
me.
you just opt not to use them. We could have been just live streaming this on YouTube the whole time. The whole time? Mrs. Doubtfire reference.
Thanks. I missed that.
Just
but
checking.
but I'm laughing so hard that I'm trying to like signal Patrick through Zoom as to like, oh, you're right, as I'm shaking my finger at him. And he's like, you're laughing so hard. I'm like, no, I can't breathe. Like,
Yes, he's scolding me. The pointing is please keep talking because it's awkward silence. All right, I think we've delayed this topic enough. Haha, wink wink, nudge nudge, pun intended, and I kind of hate myself for it.
I hate you
George and
already.
I know. George and I were talking about shows that okay, now I'm screwing up the segue. The movies we were talking
Ooh,
about are
Jesus.
hits.
We should have just left it at Tom Cruise. All right, good night. That's the great episode. Fuck.
They can't all be winners, as George says. Sometimes it's not that they're bad, it's just they're gigs that make you kind of just shake your head and scratch your head and go, what just happened?
Yeah.
Kind of like that segue that I just attempted.
No, no. I mean, listen. As a live performer, as many people who are listening to this that are in the entertainment field, or as I'm sure that people who are just imagining what it must be like to be a performer and just are listening to us for what they are, I think you can honestly say there are definitely times that are quote bad gigs. There are definitely times that are amazing gigs, and then there are times that are just like, wait, what happened? And like, how did I get through this, or how the hell did this happen? And then I even, like I told you in the pre-meeting before this, is I even said about like, even not necessarily a bad gig, but just like something that made it memorable as to, oh, I'm always gonna remember that one. Like, I mean, actually, I'll give you one real fast. Is my wife recently just celebrated an anniversary of hers of breaking her ankle doing roller derby. And
Oh, wow.
she's like, oh, remember when this happened? And like, it was like 17 years ago. And she's like remembering like it was yesterday because it's such an amazing thing. So me and you have had those times where we're on stage, or we're dealing with a promoter, or we're dealing with a fan after the show that just makes it fun. And for us, road stories just always becomes a thing. So yeah, let's tackle one. What does Patrick Bean think of when he thinks of, if I said, tell me a memorable gig, but not for a good reason?
The year was it honestly was either 2013 or 14. I'm not sure. Maybe. No, might have been sooner. Either way, this was in the time where this was not a stand-up gig. This was an improv gig. I was with my troupe, the second place champions. It was myself, Pete, Steve Grande, and Justin Schilling. And we were booked to do freshman orientation at Iona College in New York.
Okay.
And for anyone who is in the entertainment industry, freshman orientation shows are considered, specifically in the college market, but I would dare say in the entire entertainment industry, some of the toughest gigs you can do. Because freshman orientation is the week where these kids who have lived at home their whole lives, It's now their first week away from home. That is, they're dropped off and it's okay. They're gone for, the next semester. Whether they come home on the weekends, maybe if they're local or if they've just moved across the country, this is their new home for the next 4 months at least.
This has definitely been, for anyone who has never gone to college, the way how we're going to explain freshman orientation. I think you kind of covered it with the word orientation, but go ahead. No?
I'm not following what you're...
I like how you're like, this is freshman orientation. Like, I mean, I think most people get the concept of what freshman orientation is.
I'm
like, no shit, Pat. What else we got?
Well, no, freshman orientation though is, I'm sorry, I'm already reliving the trauma, and I'm delaying telling the story because it's probably the most painful story I have as I tell it over.
You mean to tell me that freshman orientation is the orientation you have to college when you're a freshman? Get the fuck out of here.
I know. One, I'm reliving the trauma. Two, it's not just, hey, you come in a day early and sit through a series of lectures that goes over the rules. It's for most colleges, it's a week-long process. There's different events every night, etc.
The fun three-legged basketball or something, and everyone plays basketball attached to somebody else. Something stupid. And then no. I've been at a lot of college events with a lot of different things like that. It's always something of we're having a game amongst each other. We're having team building. Then we have the comedians. Then we have the magicians. Then we have the DJ night. Then we have hey, we're pieing each other in the face because whatever. Like, there's always those like orientation, spirit week, homecoming festivals that colleges have. So this is the one that's starting the year for the freshmen, and you guys got hired to go up to New York and do this. All right, I'm in.
So here's the thing. Everything you described does actually sound fun. It sounds very nice. And I'm going to preface right now, I'm not knocking Iona College. I'm sure it's a wonderful institution. I'm sure it's a good school. The staff was very nice. We had a lot of fun hanging out with the student activities board before the show started. We had a great time with them. It's the nature of the gig. It just is. So again, I'm not knocking Iona College. We did the show the same day that they all moved in. Now, Iona College college is expensive to begin with. Any university has a pretty nice price tag at this point. But Iona College, definitely a little wealthier, a little more well-to-do people get to send their kids to Iona College.
Okay.
So I would dare venture that at least at the time I did this, maybe it's changed, but at the time I did this, these kids moving into the freshman dorms, this might be the hardest some of them have worked in their lives when it comes to unloading boxes and their suitcases and setting up their room and all this. Now, granted, moving is also very tiresome, don't get me wrong. But these kids, and I'll get to why I feel like these kids were a little more well-off than maybe you and I were, George, when we were growing up.
I am curious because, I am a person who went to college from the GI Bill, so I don't necessarily know all the costs and stuff. But, like, what would you say currently in 2025, what would you say is, like, the average college tuition?
Oh, God, I don't know.
I'm just guessing because I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know. So I respectfully went with some scholarships, so I don't even know.
All right. Well, I will tell you that if you are listening to this, I did just look it up as of this date in 2025, but it did say that the year of 2023 to 2024 was just under 46,000. Actually, it says, I'm losing this, but it says 46,500 part-time undergraduate student.
Part-time undergrad student?
That's what it says.
Oh, I don't know. But I hope that's not accurate because that sounds disgustingly expensive.
But because I don't know this stuff, is that per year or is that per semester?
That's probably per year. So that's for both the fall and spring semester, I think is how that would be measured. That's still a shit ton of money.
So, yeah, but I get what you're saying is, again, and no disrespect to the college, we don't want to be sued or anything, but, like, this is definitely a little bit more well-to-do people, and you are saying that they probably have never had a blood blister on their hand, is what you're getting at.
I will touch on why I felt that most of these kids maybe came from money. Could be wrong. And if you think I'm wrong, you can reach out to us at abitdelayed@gmail.com.
Yeah, send all your hate mail, Iona, to Patrick Bean at that.
So so let me get to the gig. We're wasting time here. Let me just relive the trauma and get it.
We're not allowed. We're wasting time. Okay.
Never. It's unheard of between us. So we get to this show. Now, Iona College, at least at the time, did not have a theater space. So we had to perform in the gymnasium.
Always a fun thing.
Right. It's not the best setup for a technical standpoint because you need some kind of sound amplification because we're four guys acting, doing improv, but sound bounces in a gymnasium, so the echo is terrible in the room. Yet again, another reason why just the nature of this gig is very difficult. So we do our sound check. We figure out, okay, this is the best we're going to get with the sound echo. So we sit in our green room, and our green room, the window, we see that all the kids are getting marched down. And as we get told of this, this wasn't a, hey guys, as a welcoming thing, if you guys want to come see the comedy show, come on down. Because most kids, after moving in, want to either sleep or relax or just get to know their roommates, just get a bite to eat and have a quiet night in.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Or, you know, this is their first time away at college. Some of them probably want to go party and, you know, live their Animal House-esque fantasy. You know, their Van Wilder-like dream and throw a crazy party. No. At 6:30, the RAs go around and knock on every door and say, hey, come on, you're going to a comedy show. I really don't want to go. I feel a little tired. Nope, you have to go to this comedy show. Because that's what you want for a comedy audience. You want them all to be physically forced to attend the show.
Oh my God.
So they essentially drag 500 freshmen to the gymnasium to do the show. And we see them almost like marching down the hill. And it's slowly becoming more and more ominous because we've now heard this is, you know, the RAs had communicated to the student activities board, like, hey, a number of my students or a number of my residents, they're not really excited about the show. Do they still have to go? And student activities like, yep, they have to be here. 500 students sitting in the gymnasium facing us on stage. And we start doing Second Place Champions. It's a short form improv show, so very similar to Whose Line Is It Anyway in terms of format. We get to, I think, our second game was Emotional Roller Coaster. So we're getting suggestions for like, okay, give us emotions. And, you know, at the drop of a hat, Justin would just change his emotion.
Okay, yep.
And so we go out to the crowd to go, okay, give me an emotion. And just like the joke from Ted, where you go out to the audience and be like, all right, we need a suggestion for an emotion. Suicidal, depressed, angry.
Yeah. They're like, name us a character from history. Adolf Hitler. Thanks.
Right. Yeah. They're giving us every terrible suggestion and letting us know they don't care. Now, mind you, we are contractually obligated to do 75 to 90 minutes for this show. And we are 75. We are not even 15 minutes into the show. And this is the response we're getting. So we get through the show. We're struggling to get through. We're giving it everything we can. It's just, it's not connecting with the audience between the sound and the fact that the audience just really doesn't care. So we find out later on that pairs of people would get up to go to the bathroom, but in reality, they're trying to sneak back to their dorm.
Sure,
because they don't want to sit through the show. The student activities board started to play mind games with these people and said, oh, you guys need to go to the bathroom? Okay. Well, one of you can go at a time. So now you're giving them the ultimatum. Do they actually go to the bathroom and then come back to let their friend go to the bathroom? Or does one of them go, sneak out to the dorm, screw over their, you know, new roommate or friend?
Yeah. Excellent first impression. Excellent first impression.
But because because what happened was a couple people would get up and be like, oh, we're just going to the bathroom. And I guess maybe the first group or two, the student group realized like, oh, they snuck out. All right, well, now we got to play hardball. They have to be here.
Yeah.
So now you're doing the social experiment with who's value to who. Because then once they started saying, oh, only one at a time, that's when groups were like, you know what, we'll hold it and just go after the show. And they would slink back to their seat.
You know, it's like I don't want 500 miserable people at my show. I'd take 40 good ones. Like,
right. So this is apparently the problem throughout our show now. So we go through. We hit the 74-minute mark. And we're at the point, George, you've seen a couple second place champion shows when we used to do them, but for anyone listening who's never seen them, what we would do is we would compete, I put that in air quotes, where we would do at the end of the show, we'd play like 9 improv games, and then we'd say, okay, we're going to do an audience vote right now. That person goes to our championship round at the very end of the show. The remaining 3 compete in another game. One person is chosen by the person who's automatically in the finals. Another person is chosen to move on to the finals. So then the top 3 of the 4 of us play the championship game to see who is tonight's champion of champions.
And you'd have an awesome championship belt, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, we modified a toy wrestling belt and used stick-on letters to change it to the second place champions, like champion of champions belt. Whatever. There's pictures of it online somewhere. Yeah,
you can go on our fan page and see young pictures of me and Patrick while he's holding the belt.
Yes, there is a picture. Yes, one night, one of the last.
Go ahead.
Yes, sorry, I was going to brag that the last show I did, I'm pretty sure I won, but I digress.
You retired as champion.
I did retire as champion. Yes, I did. I went out on top.
Take that, Steve Grande.
Yeah, Grande still owns the belt and the second place champions. I think he wins. He's also living in Chicago as a full-time improviser. I think he wins.
He's awesome.
He's the best. Oh, I love that guy. I miss him. We're going to have to get him on the show. Anyway, so we hit the 74-minute mark. And we get to the point of audience vote to see who's going to move on to the final. So we bring up one of the students who works for the Student Activities Board to be the gauge for how loud the audience cheers.
Oh, no.
So they put their hand up over the different students. This is my interpretation. I'm happy we complimented Grande because I subtly, and everyone in the troupe, not so subtly, immediately after the show, blamed Grande. So he can tell his side of the story one day. They go, okay, she just went down the line. Steve Grande was the first person that she said, okay, if you think Steve needs to move on to the finals, cheer. The students think this means the show is over. So if we just decisively cheer for somebody, show's over, we get to go home. Steve Grande gets all but a standing ovation. Do not get me wrong. Steve is a very talented improviser.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it worked out where Steve would move on to the finals. So I'm not taking that away from him. But it was a unanimous, the whole audience was like, yep, Steve Grande wins. Let's wrap this shit up. Okay, if you think Justin should move on, cheer for Justin. Justin would always get the ladies' vote because he was, at the time, the most fit, most handsome, everything, good-looking dude. So he got the second place, but it's still very clear Steve won. And then Pete and I each got respectful applause.
Okay.
Just because, again, they're like, okay, show's over. We're not going to be total dicks to these guys, but the show's over. Steve won. So the student activities representative goes, all right, and Steve has won. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. These have been the second place champions. We have a lot more great activity. Starts to do her spiel of like, okay, the show's over. Thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow for tomorrow night's activities.
Okay.
The whole student body starts getting up and leaving. Steve, being the dedicated professional he is,
oh no,
whispers to her and goes, actually, we had a couple more games we were going to play.
Oh, Steve!
The show wasn't actually over.
No!
And so she goes, wait, just kidding. The show's not over. Come back. So now I see the Student Activities Board members essentially playing the largest game of Red Rover, where they're trying to link hands and block the students in and corral them to shepherd them back to the seats to watch the last couple games.
No kids back on the comedy death march.
But Jesus. At this point, the kids had enough momentum. They all weaved through and ducked under. And so to your point of like, instead of 500, just give me 40 good ones. I would say about 20 to 25 either stayed or sat back down.
All theater kids.
Probably. So we went from an audience of 500 to now an audience of 20. But the best audience at that. Now it felt like we were actually doing a comedy show again because we could hear laughter. Because the people who were sitting there were the ones who had been enjoying the show the whole time, and just whatever arrangement the sound was hitting, they could actually hear us and were enjoying the show. So we do the last two games. I remember we even sold a few t-shirts that night because people had become fans of ours. So somewhere there's some Iona alumni who bought an SPC t-shirt, whether they still have it or not, who knows?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. Someone's like, I once saw you.
Yeah, it could be. So we would always grab food before we drive home because we tried to avoid hotel rooms whenever possible just to save a little extra money. So
I've been on crappy gigs, I understand.
So this wasn't a crappy gig. I'm not upset with the money we were paid, but we were just like, let's save the extra money and just not get a hotel. Grande was very like, no, we're going to do round trip. Like there were multiple times it was like, no, we're going to leave from New Jersey, drive to Maryland, teach a workshop, do a show, and drive back all in the same day. And I'm like, can we just crash for the night? It's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
That's how I knew I was getting too old for.
Bro, I'll take the pay cut. Like honestly, let's all split a room.
Right. That's what we would do. It's not like we'd all get our own rooms. Anyway.
This sounds so much like the world of pro wrestling and indies. like, oh, what did I do? I made $60 a night and spent 20 on dinner. we all split a hotel room. Who picked up the beer?
So we're looking around, and I forget the name of the town that Iona is in, but it's a Sunday night. A lot of things have already kind of closed up. The only thing open is a McDonald's that's right off campus.
Oh my God.
So we go, all right, we're going to go to McDonald's. And Steve, being also our creative director, was the guy to sit down and always go, okay, let's talk about what worked and what didn't work. And he always wanted to do it after the show when it's fresh. And this is the one time, but this is the one time the three of us are like, dude, this was a wash. This was not our night. No, we're all tired. We're all a little frustrated. Like, it was great. We got the 20 students that liked us, and we had a great time talking to all of them. We sincerely did.
You know, the best part.
Go home.
The best part is like the recreation director or whatever the student activities director you said.
Yes.
Like they had given you the out. Like no one at that point is gonna be like, by the way, you did 1 minute less than you were supposed to. Like you had. Well,
the audience vote would fill the last minute, so we were contractually obligated.
Okay,
that's what
I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm saying you had the out. And like Steve Grande is like the kid who's like, excuse me, teacher, you forgot to give us homework for the weekend. Just like all I'm picturing right now is from Ghostbusters. When someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Say yes. Exactly. That's exactly what the vibe was.
Grande, we had the out. Why would you put us through this for?
That was exactly what the vibe was. Yes.
Oh, God.
So we're in the parking lot at McDonald's and we're talking. And Steve's like, look, let's just go through game by game, just talk about what worked, what didn't work. And that's it. And we're like, fine. So we're sitting there, we're talking, and this kid pulls up in, it wasn't like an old Pontiac Firebird, but it was a muscle car. Like an older muscle car you wouldn't expect an 18-year-old at this time to have.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit. Got it.
Yes. So it was a cool car. So he pulls up, and he had come up and started talking to us. He's like, oh, you guys are the improv troupe. And we're like, yeah, that's us. Like, are you going to try to beat us up because we somewhat held you hostage in a comical sense? Or, yeah. And he was like, and he was nice. He was like, yeah, it was so tough to hear you guys. Like, I'm sure you guys were great, but like, the sound was just, we couldn't really hear anything. We're like, oh, thank you, whatever. And he goes back to his car. And we're like, okay, let's keep breaking down the show. Why I say he came from money or something, he had also gone like, oh, do you guys like my car? Like, he's trying to brag about his car to us.
Got it.
And we're like, yeah, it's a really cool car, whatever. He's like, yeah, no, my dad bought it for my 16th birthday and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, cool. Cool. And again, it's a really nice car. He goes back into the car. He has like a PA system, like, how police have like the sound system that blares out so they can talk, like, show us your hands.
Yeah, I got it.
He has that in his car. His personal vehicle has that hardwired into it. And he's trying to show it off to us. Like, he's trying to show the sound system off by cranking his music. And then he does over the intercom PA system built into the car. And we're just like, this kid needs to leave us the fuck alone. He's trying to like just be cool, but we don't think he's cool. This is pretty obnoxious. And I think part of it too was we're still young. Like we're all pretty fresh out of college. So
Yeah,
we're not that much older than any of them. So we're more relatable in that way. But again, we're just like, we just want to get our McDonald's and get the hell out.
sure.
So meanwhile, we had been sitting outside talking this whole time. We then finally are like, all right, cool. Let's get our food, leave. We get in to the McDonald's and there's kind of a line forming now because it's still a sleepy Sunday night, but the freshmen have now moved in. This McDonald's didn't realize it, so they were a little understaffed. And so there's only one register. There's like 15 individual orders before us.
And now you guys are like the superstars. Yo, the improv troupe is here.
Yeah, no, the complete opposite. So we're standing there and we're talking quietly, and slowly but surely, you see, some of them turn around to just see how long the line is. And you could see some of them just like pointing at us, whispering, like, there's the improv troupe. Oh, those are those guys that were there. And we're like, oh crap. All right. There's got to be another McDonald's that's open. We can just leave. Like we'll suck
Bye.
it up. We'll get back on the road. We kind of turn around. There's another 20 to 30 people. The line's now out the door behind us. And we're like, well, we don't want to do the walk of shame and have to deal with all these other students. So we wait in line quietly. We get in. And again, this McDonald's not expecting so many people here.
The walk of shame is that you're in McDonald's in the first place.
That's not the point right now, George. The point is the only people we're surrounding ourselves with are either McDonald's employees or the audience we just borderline held comedic hostage. We put in our order, and you know how most McDonald's I feel are shaped this way. There's, the main section where you walk up to the counter, there's a few tables in that area, and then there's kind of that side area where it like extends most of the dining room extends out towards the bathrooms.
Yeah, I think most of us have been to a McDonald's, yes.
Yes. Well, I'm describing it because we went to go sit in the back corner near the bathrooms, but the lights were out and that section was clearly not closed because you can't really just close off the dining room, but clearly the staff didn't want people to sit there because they had already cleaned it for the night, but we wanted to hide in our shame. So we hid in the darkest corner of a McDonald's to eat our food. We ate it as fast as we could and then raced to get back in the car and race the 6 hours back to New Jersey or whatever it was. The kicker is we went to a few more NACA conventions before we all kind of went our separate ways. I think we saw Iona College at 2 more NACA conventions, NACA being the organization where, the trade show basically for college performers. We saw Iona College at a couple of them, and it was that same thing where you unexpectedly run into an ex, and it's like you make eye contact and you kind of say hi, but it's awkward. And you're like, oh, hey, how are you guys? Hey, cool. Just so good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, we should totally catch up. But we're doing it in the college way. Like, yeah, you should book us for a show that's not freshman orientation sometime.
Yeah. Or at least listen to us on how to do certain things.
I mean, there's only so much they could control. And then the kicker, before I turn it back to you, sir, I don't want to bogart all of the time. Too late.
No, I'm loving this. Because this is 2 stories in one. I mean, like this is the story of just what happened at the college is bad enough, and then and in my head the whole time you're saying this, I'm still picturing a theater, and then I remember, it's a gym. That's amazing.
It's a gymnasium, so the sound's terrible.
Then you go to a McDonald's. I mean, like, okay, the McDonald's story of all the people there at the McDonald's with you. That's part of the first story. The kid with the car is its own like road story of like, you remember the idiot with the car and this megaphone? Like, I'm sorry. Just continue, please.
It's a tiny snippet story within the story. But then I have a relative, my godfather. He is an alumni of Iona College. When he was a kid, he went to Iona.
Okay.
He now has a lot more free time. He's done very well for himself in his career. He, at least for a time, I don't know if he still does it, but maybe a year or 2 after this gig that I'm telling you about, he went back to Iona to be like the assistant girls lacrosse coach. So now my Facebook feed every fall, every time I start thinking back to, man, it was X amount of years ago around this time we did that gig in Iona.
Yeah.
My godfather shows up on Facebook with a big old Iona College hoodie on going, "We're having a good season. Let's go Iona College." And I'm like,
Oh
I
my
can pass
God.
on that. I don't need to see that college name anymore. I'm done. And it was just the reminder of that one gig.
But even when you said about them being responsive in like a way that you didn't want them to be, like where they were throwing out the horrible examples and stuff,
Hmm.
the first thing I was thinking is, yeah, but at least you had a crowd that was responsible or responsive.
Responsive.
Not
Hmm.
responsible. Yeah, I mean, hey, most audiences aren't responsible, but responsive. Thank you. Uh,
Hmm.
the first one that came to mind when I was thinking about this was I did a gig in Germany. So I'm stationed in Germany, and I did a lot of things. I wasn't stationed in Heidelberg. I was stationed in Mannheim, but Heidelberg had like the big entertainment area. And so through connections with the theater that I was working with and the military relations there, someone was like, "Hey, we have a magician that's also a soldier." And long story short is I got the gig for performing at one of the Oktoberfests in
Hmm.
Heidelberg. No one told me, and I guess no one told the people that were attending. There was definitely a language barrier that we weren't expecting because I was told that I was in the quote English speaking tent. Now, in my mind, that means that these people who are coming here knows that I will be speaking English, but they didn't. So, like a lot of the references to things where like you might get something wrong they were not getting at all. Like they did
Uh,
they it was I mean it was one of the most quietest audiences I've ever done magic for because they were just like what is this? They didn't get the concept of what I was doing as a magician for speaking to people. So I
hmm.
I don't know. I just always remember that one as like the non-responsive audience. Do you remember the show we did at the American Legion? It was me, you, and another comedian.
Yes, I do. I
Do
do.
you do you, so for those who for where I'm going with this is that along with being I hate using the word but quote the headliner the guy who was closing the show
Yeah, you're the
along with
headliner. You were doing a full like 45-hour long set.
yeah I know but I just never like using that word I just say the closing act so whatever I was headlining the show were you opening or did Joanne open?
I was opening and hosting.
So I could remember how it worked out. But long story short, is one of my jobs because of it was my American Legion, is that I was basically also working as promoter. One of the things I don't know. Do you remember what happened before the show?
Before the show, no.
Okay, so I have to look at my hand right now. One of the things that we had to do was I had to rent extra pipe and drape curtain
Hmm.
to kind of make more of a stage area for this American Legion ballroom. And I was having an issue while I was putting up the pipe and drape. I had to extend it to a larger height, and so there was already weight of the curtain on it as I was moving the pipe. And my right middle finger got caught in between the two pieces of metal,
Oh.
and I have like to this day I still have like a little like it's almost like the shape of a letter J, where I ripped my like first couple layers of skin off.
Oh.
uh, right before the doors are opening, and I got to perform magic in less than 2 hours.
Oh.
And I wrapped on my finger. I had to like think about what was in my set. I had to change some things that had magical moves that I had to use that part of my hand for. So like, needless to say, it was one of the like it wasn't a bad show. I think we had a great show. It was one of the worst of like, oh my god, how am I going to get through this without using one of my fingers on my hand? I This is the first one that came into mind of like quote horrible things that could happen. Not a horrible show because when I say horrible show, I don't want to necessarily talk about like any specific like venue or dealing with staff. It's not like that. I mean like horrible things or horrible stories from the road that I remember. So that's
Yeah.
that's one that always pops in my head when I think about it. I go, oh yeah, remember when I ripped my finger off like right before the show starting?
Oh.
And you were there for it.
I was. I was struggling in my own way with the show, having the come to Jesus moment per se of, hey, these are all
Oh
American
yeah.
Legion members and they're all veterans. So you talking about, man, college is crazy. doesn't play because they all went to
Yeah.
Vietnam instead of college.
Yeah. Tell us about how horrible it was to listen to your professor talk for an hour.
Yeah, so I had my own struggles that show, but
I
that's enough about me and
No, no,
my
no, no,
bad
no.
times.
We can't not talk about that and not mention my favorite thing from Patrick Bean about that night, because I remember the audience, like you had him for the first, like, I don't know, maybe 4 minutes or something. Like it was
So specific, the 4 minutes, but
well,
probably pretty accurate.
I'm trying to remember where you were at, because it was early on in the act, because you had them as a comedian,
Yeah,
you had them at the opening.
I was essentially doing crowd work because there was a woman in the front row who was dancing. Uptown Funk was like the song that year, just to give you timeline where this is
It's because
in
Uptown
history.
Funk was in my pre-show music, but yes.
It was the last song before the show started because I remember you
Okay.
said when you hear Uptown Funk, that means
Oh,
get ready because that's the last song of the pre-show. And there was a woman in and there was dinner and drinks before our show. It was dinner and a show was the
yeah.
ticket.
Yeah.
People had been there for a couple hours eating and drinking
It was
90 minutes to 2 hours beforehand.
I would say it was an hour. It was an hour, but yeah.
They had time to liquor up before anyone got on stage.
It is an American Legion. We were enjoying ourselves.
But there was a woman in the front row who was up dancing in her cheetah top, very
Yep.
cougar-esque.
Yeah.
And so my first minute or two was just talking and messing with her, and the whole crowd was laughing because she's in the front row. Everyone saw her dancing at the table. So that's how I won them over initially.
But what I was getting at is there was a good portion where you were doing your act, but it wasn't I forget how long you did, 20 minutes or whatever, but like it wasn't like it happened towards the end. It was definitely the middle, because you also had to work with getting them back. And that's what me and Joanne were backstage going like, oh, how's he going to recover from this one? Because you took that moment to go, so I don't really get it. What's the difference between American Legions and VFWs? And to watch every veteran in the room go, yo, you're an American Legion, don't even fucking talk about the VFW in this hall. Like, it's just like it was almost like a gang warfare, and let's take it out on the comedian because you messed up which one you were at.
It's not that I messed up. I was asking a genuine question to a group of people who did not feel like answering that question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very simple. Is American Legions are for anyone that served in the military, and VFWs are you specifically had to be boots on ground in combat.
Yes,
That's
veteran
the simple
of a foreign war, as in you went overseas.
But man, to watch the college comedy go, so what's up with these veterans? Just like,
I didn't say what's
but that's
up with
how it
these
felt.
veterans.
That's how it felt. Like,
that was not my intent, but if that's how it was read, my God, no wonder the audience turned. Because I had, let's say I did well. Let's be a little more kind to me. Let's say I did well for the first 5 minutes. Or no, I did well for the first 4 minutes per George's assessment. I struggled for the next 10 to 12.
You made one comment, lost them.
Yes, I made one comment early on because I thought I was on a roll doing a little bit of crowd work. And then did my material.
I believe my line was, go to the dead cat material now.
Yeah. And then maybe my last 3 or 4 minutes, which, yes, was in reference to a dead cat.
Yeah,
that kind of got them back.
Which to just the reason why I said it for people who are getting this is at the time I knew that was what Patrick was closing with. So that was my way of being like, wrap it up.
I stood my ground and I did my time. I got them back at the end somehow.
You did.
But my goodness, was that a terrible middle of the 20-minute set. Yeah.
So,
eight out of my, in a very forgiving manner and forgiving assessment, 8 of my 20 minutes were good. And the other 12 was yeesh.
Yeah, that was a fun one. And I mean, you think about things for us that we've done together. That's one that always comes back. I got one more that if I don't put it on this episode, I'm going to hate myself and we're going to want to do another episode. So to wrap it up, I will tell you one last one. We'll try a segue again. So you said about how they turned on you. I did a gig that brought this whole thing of what this episode was going to be into what's the word? Fruition.
Yes.
Because I mentioned to you offhandedly a couple weeks back about something, and I said, "Oh, I got to put this in an episode." So I did a gig where I was specifically trying to get my audience to turn. I was trying to distract from them. I know. I watch you laughing now because you know
Mm-hmm.
exactly where I'm going with this.
I
So
do.
I had a gig that apparently I mentioned to Patrick, and he was like, "Excuse me, I once performed for dogs." That's the easiest way to explain it. I did magic for dogs.
My God. Yep. And I honestly don't think you've told me this story before, which is why when you casually mentioned it a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm sorry. Come again? Say that
we
one more time?
we have to wrap this one up, so I will tell you the
Yes, yes, yes,
fastest way
yes.
possible and get this out there just
Or
so
it
it's
can
on
be a
an episode.
cliffhanger.
No, yeah, all right, yeah, for next episode. No, no,
Ah,
no. So back again, back into the military story of just how things happen. Meeting someone on the base, that kind of thing.
mhm.
I was stationed in Pennsylvania, and I want to say it was 2005, but somehow someone who was working with a dog rescue was like, "Hey, it's actually a really big venue. It's where they do like a lot of livestock stuff, but there's the Pennsylvania Farm Complex." And they were like, "Hey, have you ever performed the Pennsylvania Farm Complex?" And in my mind, I'm going like, "Oh my God," because they really do sell it out for concerts and stuff like that. And I'm just like, "Oh my God, I would love to perform there." And they're like, "That's
Sure.
awesome. I'm the booking the entertainment for a dog show." And I went, "It's a dog show." We're like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the entertainment. It's a dog show. And she's like, "No, no, we were having this idea." And so they wanted other stations around the dog show. And they wanted other entertainment around the dog show. So they had a balloon artist at the dog show, and they had, face painters, all for the people that were attending the dog show. So I was originally hired to perform magic for these going by people, and that's it. And somehow in the booking, she says, "Wait a minute, do you do anything that's really cool and could be like distracting?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Do you have anything like, with fire or with like appearing things that like spring out of nowhere?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And she goes, "Well, how would you feel about performing for the dogs?" And I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Basically, what it was there was a like obedience thing, like sit and stay,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted distractions to happen to see if these dogs would move. So my goal was to get these dogs to look at me while they were trying to look at something else.
Right.
And it's probably one of the most embarrassing like when you hear of performers taking on a gig that they're just not happy about because they're just like, "Oh, like look at where my career has gone."
Mm-hmm.
Um it was just one of those ones that, I mean, I was still young in my career, but I remember just going like, "The hell am I doing? I'm making silks appear for dogs." Like it's just, I
Oh.
don't know. That's definitely one of the memorable ones of just like, yeah, weird stuff that happened. So I can actually say that I performed magic for dogs.
It's the one time you've done a show where you don't want the audience to look at you.
You're right. You're right.
And you're a magician, so
Yeah.
your whole act is visual.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird one.
I hope the pay was
Well,
good, sir.
I mean, listen, I was I would have been like 2021 somewhere in there. I was
Mm.
okay because I was also that's the one benefit of all
Yeah.
the shows I did when I was in the military is I was still being paid by the military. So this was like stuff I did on my free time. So
Yeah.
even if it was $200, I was like, "All right, drinking money." Like,
Right. That's just, yeah, just more money in the bank to go to the
yeah,
bar.
yeah. So I hope that one wraps this one up for all of our fun little stupid stories. I'm sure we'll have more as this podcast continues going on.
Yes, we'll
Um,
remember more. I just needed to share my most traumatic one.
I, I
Yeah.
that's a great one. I cannot wait till Steve Grande is on here, and I'll just be like, "Hey, man, so when you're doing 75 minutes, and they tell you
All
can
you
go
have to do when we have him on is
go
just
Iona."
say, "Hey, tell me about Iona College." And here's the thing. This is why I need to preface to Steve Grande. I love you, buddy. I love you. I miss you. I love you. I can't wait to go to Chicago and hang out with you. But this is the one story where it at the time we were mad at you. Now we can all laugh about it. But
Yeah,
it's just funny that the three of us, myself, Pete, and Justin, were all like, because I used to be, that was like the little job I gave myself, was I would take a watch, I would set it to 12 o'clock, and as soon as the show would start, I'd push the pin in. So I could time exactly how long we've been on stage. So I saw that we were an hour and 15 minutes in. We met our contractual obligation. We could walk off stage at any time and we're good.
Yep.
And I saw it, and I feel like I gave Steve the nod of like, hey man, we're good. We can wrap it here. Like, we don't have to. And just, Pete was on board with that, and Justin was on board with that. So as soon as Steve goes, actually, we had a couple more games we were going to play. The show's got another like 10, 15 minutes in it. I think Pete and I looked at each other like, oh no. And then we just watched the wave of students rush for the door.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes,
well, listen, we'll have to get Steve on to tell that. We'll have to get pretty much all of them on to tell their version of that story.
This one has it'll become like our thing. Tell us your Iona story. Iona's gonna sue. Iona will sue us eventually. Anyway, tell everyone where they can find out about you and what you're doing, sir.
You can find me on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at Patrick Bean Comedy. I post all my show dates and everything I'm doing on there. You can also go to patrickbeancomedy.com, and I also post my tour dates there. Not tour dates, my show dates. We're working on a tour. We're getting there.
Working on a tour.
Nothing to announce on that front. George, where can the people find you?
Yeah, easiest way is just almost all social media, George G Magic. So that's George common spelling. Last name is G-E-E, and the word magic. Most social media, and same things. Whenever I have something coming up or that's public, I usually post what it's about. And then last up is that we are trying to, of course, do our show. So we should mention that.
We're not trying, we're doing.
We are doing. We are still in the process of what 100% it's going to be. We know it's going to be comedy. We know it's going to be magic, and apparently it's going to be improv.
And we know it's going to be improv. No, not apparently. We know it's going to be improv. We're at an improv theater, and we are going to pay respects to the fact that you and I met through an improv troupe we were both members of.
We were. But anyway, Patrick, just give them the quick basics information on that so we can wrap this damn episode up.
Yes, June 15th, Father's Day, Mesa, Arizona, at the Bridge Improv Theater. Myself and George G will be performing. Ticket information will be put out soon. It might already be out, actually, by the time this episode comes out. Who knows? But mark your calendars. Spend Father's Day with two dudes who have never wanted to, and probably, thank goodness, are not fathers. Come hang out with us and enjoy the show.
Are we telling stories about our dads? This will be fun.
I could tell a story about my dad that I've done on stage before. It wouldn't be anything. I could talk about my parents a little bit on stage. We'll see. We'll see how we feel.
We'll get to that one because I got some good stories that we are never putting on the air about my father.
Oh,
anyway,
boy. Ooh,
I hope it's been fun for you folks while listening.
I love you, Dad.
I love you, Dad.
I just want to make that abundantly clear.
If people could see me right now, I love you, Dad. Looking up at the sky, wherever you may be, looking down at the ground. Nah, whatever. We all have our things we get through in life. But no, with that being said, this has been a wonderful episode talking about stuff with one of my best friends and, of course, fun road stories. So for George G and Patrick Bean, this has been another episode of A Bit Delayed. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye. Thank you for listening. Theme song by Tash Nilsson. Check out all his great music on Spotify.